Good morning, welcome. I'm Supervisor Diane Burgis, Chair of the Contra Costa County Board of Supervisors. Every year, the board chooses to take time out to thank our veterans here in Contra Costa County and everywhere. Today, we will be hearing from my colleagues on the board, and we have two guest speakers today as well. So let's begin our ceremony with the National Anthem, performed by veteran Richard O'Connor, and the presentation of the colors from the Anza High School JROTC.
Please remain standing for the National Anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight and the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good morning and welcome everyone. I'm Nathan Johnson, the Contra Costa County Veterans Service Officer. Thank you for joining us today for our annual Veterans Day ceremony. I would like to thank the Board of Supervisors for hosting this Veterans Day ceremony, County Administrator Monica Nino, Chief Deputy County Administrator and Army veteran Eric Angstadt, Senior Management Analyst and both Army and Air Force veteran Sarah Kennard, who is currently deployed to the Middle East. Lastly, I would like to thank CCTV for their assistance in putting together our county's second virtual Veterans Day ceremony. On behalf of the Board of Supervisors and the Veterans Service Office, I thank all veterans, their families, and community members for attending this year's virtual Veterans Day ceremony. Although we can't see you, we know that you are watching from all over the county. Thank you to this year's planning committee, including Don Morrow from Supervisor Burgis' office, Jen Kwolek from Supervisor Anderson's office, Colleen Eisenberg from Supervisor Mitchoff's office, James Lyons, Marine veteran from Supervisor Gioia's office, and Dominic Aliano from Supervisor Glover's office. I now would like to thank my Veteran Service Office team, Blue Star mom Carol Prell, Josh Lang, Air Force veteran Bo Jones, Marine Corps veteran Buck Carmichael, Navy veteran Fred Schobert, Blue Star mom Jill Martinez, Army veteran Mike Hofschneider, Navy veteran Ben Yang, and Navy veteran Andre Street. This has been a year of continued significant challenges and the need for flexibility, and I appreciate all of their hard work throughout this year. I thank and honor all Gold Star families and want you to know your sacrifice is not forgotten. I thank and honor all Pearl Harbor survivors, prisoners of war, and our missing in action. You also are not forgotten. And I cannot miss the opportunity to say, happy birthday, Marines, Semper Fidelis. Contra Costa County is home to over 55,000 veterans, including 5 generations of combat vets. Some survived Pearl Harbor over 80 years ago, served on the beaches of Iwo Jima and Normandy. Today, we honor our World War II vets. Some served at the Pusan Perimeter or at the Chosin Reservoir. Today, we honor our Korean War vets. Many served in heavy urban and jungle combat in I Corps through 4th Corps. Today, we honor our Vietnam veterans. Some served in the oily and smoky desert of Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Iraq. Today, we honor our Desert Storm veterans. Many served in the hot cities and dusty mountains of the Middle East. Today, we honor our Global War on Terrorism veterans. But most importantly, and this is mentioned every year, we cannot forget that not enough have served stateside preserving peace. As our country has not seen a peacetime period since 1990, one generation that is quickly disappearing are those who served during peace. Today, we honor all peacetime veterans. Thank you. Many are still serving as active service members, reservists, guardsmen, or family members. Our county is home to service members who wear the uniform representing recruiters, the 60th and 349th Air Mobility Wings at Travis Air Force Base, 49th MP Battalion in Pittsburgh, the 357th MP Company in Concord, the 1st of the 143rd Artillery in Walnut Creek, Richmond, and Concord, the 834th Transportation Battalion, also in Concord, the Coast Guard 11th District in Alameda, and the 6th Air Naval Gunfire Liaison Company, also located in Concord. Today, we celebrate and thank all veterans. However, today's ceremony focuses on acknowledging the work of 2 incredible women who lead vital programs that serve the everyday needs of our veterans. The Veterans of Foreign Wars has a large presence throughout our state with posts in almost every hometown. Amongst the many things that they do, they provide buddy poppies to remind us on Memorial Day of the sacrifices made by our service members who died in combat. Today, we are honored to hear from their state commander, Mrs. Dusty Napier. Contra Costa County Superior Court formed its very first Veterans Treatment Court in 2017 when a determined and courageous judge called together resources from the district attorney, public defender, probation, VA, and County Veteran Service Office. Under her leadership, this program has benefited the lives of several dozen veterans who have been reminded that their honorable military service has not been forgotten. Today, we have the opportunity to honor Judge Laurel Brady. But do not rest on your heels knowing that this program exists, as mentors are needed to help support veterans who are going through Veterans Treatment Court. If you have a little time to give each month, the Veterans Treatment Court would like to appoint you as a mentor in the program. Each year, elected officials representing districts throughout the county attend our ceremony to honor veterans. Although they could not join us in person today, we thank our elected officials and their hardworking team members for their continued support of our local, state, and national veterans programs. American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, Disabled American Veterans, and Marine Corps League are only some of the many veterans service organizations that serve our local veterans community. This has been a very difficult year for many, including our veteran service organizations and veterans memorial buildings. Despite these continued challenges, I want to thank all veteran service organizations for their hard work and camaraderie that you continue to provide for our veterans. And now, some brief reflections on Veterans Day from our Board of Supervisors.
Happy Veterans Day. Today is our annual celebration at the Board of Supervisors to honor those many veterans and active duty military who went out and served our country. Those of you who served us, protected our democracy, protected our values, and really put yourself out there away from your families for the greater good for this country. My father was a veteran, and when he returned, he went on to become a high school government teacher. And he taught his students about rights and responsibilities. And it's important to have responsibilities to enjoy our rights. And all of you who are veterans and active duty are indeed fulfilling a responsibility to this country. Thank you for your service.
Good morning. Thank you for attending today. I would like to say to the veterans of all branches, thank you for your sacrifice, your bravery, and for the example you set for all of us. Most importantly, thank you for your service to all those who have served and those who continue to serve. The enormity of your sacrifice is beyond compare. Our veterans continue to serve our community in so many ways long after they retire from active duty. Thank you for helping so many others, especially your fellow veterans, through our stand downs, events sponsored through our many veteran service organizations, and programs that lift and support veterans, such as Veterans Voices. I look forward to our county ceremony each year to recognize and honor our military heroes, both past and present. Please enjoy our ceremony today, and as always, I am honored to once again recognize Contra Costa County's veteran community.
Good morning. I am District 4 Supervisor Karen Mitchoff, representing the communities of Clayton, Concord, Pleasant Hill, and part of Walnut Creek. I would like to take this opportunity to thank each and every veteran in our community and their families. We are lucky to have a thriving veterans community in our county. This year, we saw the conclusion of the near 20-year war in Afghanistan. This was the longest American conflict, which impacted multiple generations of veterans and their families. To the veterans who served in Afghanistan, I would like to take this opportunity to honor your service and welcome you home. You made the choice to serve our country. You served with honor, bravery, and distinction. I would like to recognize your sacrifice by saying a sincere thank you. Your community is here for you and will support you in your next steps. Here in Contra Costa County, our Veterans Service Office is ready to assist you with your benefits. We are happy to help you in any way we can. Once again, our sincerest thanks and gratitude for your service, and happy Veterans Day.
Veteran Day is a very important day to me because it's a holiday when we honor and reflect on the service of our veterans. It's a holiday when we honor American veterans. Thank you to all our veterans, and a very special thanks to the Veteran Service Organization for helping our veteran community. It's important that we continue to support our veterans as much as possible. Thank you, and happy Veterans Day.
Thank you to my colleagues for your very poignant reflections. It makes it very special. As we honor our veterans this Veterans Day, we would be remiss in not acknowledging the 20-year anniversary of the September 11th attacks on our country and the significant impact that day had on our veterans. On this Veterans Day, we reflect on the great losses we experienced that day. We think about the folks that went to work and never came home, and the first responders that showed up to help and ended up giving the ultimate sacrifice. Today, we're also mourning the further loss of life our country endured of those that went to fight for our country as a result of those attacks. The bravery and the generosity of those that were just so outraged they had to come and fight for our country. And while we mourn and acknowledge and remember the loss and the tragedy, it is important to remember the courage and the compassion amongst the chaos and smoke, whether that is out on the site of the attacks on that September 11th morning or out on the battlefields far away. The courage and sacrifice, the generosity of those that stand up and fight for our country should remind us of what we are all capable of, particularly in these divisive times. I remember those days thousands of miles away here on the West Coast after the attacks, when we were all just a little kinder and a little more patient with each other, because we felt like we were all in it together, because we are all in it together. There was a shared pain that brought us together. We felt a responsibility to do our part, even if that was opening a door a little bit longer for a stranger, giving blood, or donating to a cause that brought so much comfort, so much hope, and really a resolve in not allowing others to take from us our humanity and our hope and our freedom. So every year for the past 20 years, as September 11th approaches, my heart feels just a little heavier. And honestly, tears are just a little quicker to appear. And I doubt that will ever go away. But another thing that will never go away will be my commitment to nurture and create a community that never forgets the courage, the compassion, the generosity, and the kindness of our veterans and all Americans. Next, I want to welcome our keynote speaker, Commander Dusty Napier. Dusty was sworn in as the Veterans of Foreign Wars Department of California State Commander in June of this year. She is only the second woman veteran and first Native American to serve in this position in the organization's 100 years of existence. Commander Napier was born and raised in Eureka, California, and she is an enrolled tribal member of the Chiricahua tribe. Welcome, Commander.
Good morning. I'm honored to be here today as we celebrate our nation's veterans. I'm also grateful to everyone for joining us and allowing me the opportunity to speak to you today. Going all the way back to the American Revolution, for everyone who served, there was no question about what they were fighting for. It was for their home, their business, their farm, their village, their town or city, but it was for freedom. That freedom has transcended generations, not because it has been guaranteed or has come easy, but because over the years, selfless Americans have continued to stand up, raise their right hand, and commit to ensuring liberty for all. Today, we celebrate millions of veterans who have ensured our freedom since America's humble beginning. We are here to celebrate their determination, dedication, and unwavering patriotism. Through war and in times of peace, America's brave veterans have remained committed to ensuring our great country remains the land of the free. Today is just another day for some, but for those of us who are here, we know the importance of this day, the importance of honoring the sacrifice of those who afforded every American the opportunity to live free of tyranny and fear. Throughout our history, repeatedly, veterans have answered the call to service with resolve and resilience, and we have all reaped the benefits of their selflessness. Since the VFW was founded in 1899, we have worked diligently to turn indifference towards veterans into making a difference in our veterans' lives. While we cannot ever fully repay the debt of gratitude we owe this exclusive group of individuals, we start by celebrating them today. We teach our children of their sacrifices. We encourage others to show their support and appreciation at every turn. We work to honor our veterans, not just on Veterans Day, but every single day. Every American citizen, each of you here today, have a role to play in carrying forward the legacy of our freedom. That is one reason it is so important that we continue to reach out and support our newest generation of veterans, those who have returned from the front lines in Afghanistan, to help pick them up when they are down, offer support through their transition to civilian life, and help carry them when they are weary and feeling alone. We can never repay the debt we owe to our nation's heroes, but it remains our duty to try. As a Native American veteran and a woman veteran, I wanted to speak about these two groups and share a bit about their contributions to our nation. Native Americans have served in our armed forces with honor and distinction from the Revolutionary War to the present day. They currently serve at a higher rate than any other demographic. Since 9/11, 19% have served compared to 14% of other ethnicities. 20% of Native American women are also serve. In fact, women have always been warriors in defense of their children, their families, their home, and their nation. Native Americans have served in World War I, II, Korea, and Vietnam. All of them were volunteers with the exception of Vietnam period. 42,000 of them, 90% were volunteers. Many of my family members have served this country since World War I. When I was 17, I made the decision to join the Navy, but I knew in the back of my mind that in 1973, it still was not good to identify as an Indian. I knew in the back of my mind the struggles my family had faced simply because they were Indian. As I was filling out the application to join, I got to the part where it asked for my race, and I faltered. I asked my mother, what should I put there? And she said, I don't want you to have the missed opportunities like I had because we're Indian. Mark yourself as Caucasian. So I did. It was not until years later that I felt comfortable enough to embrace who I was and openly identify myself as an Indian. Today, I want to recognize and remember Pascal Cletus Pula Sr., a full-blooded Kiowa and the most decorated Native American soldier in US history. Pula served in 3 wars, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. He earned 4 Silver Stars, 5 Bronze Stars, 3 Purple Hearts, with a total of 42 medals and citations. He died in the battlefield in the Republic of Vietnam in November of 1967 while serving with Company C, 26th Infantry Regiment, 1st Infantry Division. If you have not read his story, I encourage you to do so. It's an impressive one, and he was a true warrior. I'd also like to recognize General Eli S. Parker from the Seneca Nation. He served as General Ulysses S. Grant's military secretary during the Civil War. The earliest documented Native American women who served in the military were 4 Lakota nuns. They served during the Spanish-American War. Then there's Micheline Bigman, who served 22 years in the United States Army. She deployed for Operation Iraqi Freedom, serving 2 deployments in Iraq. I would be remiss if I did not also recognize Lori Pestawa. She was the first Native American woman to give her life in service to this country while on foreign soil. Native American women warriors faced discrimination for being a female and being a Native American. We have persevered through the decades of challenges. Looking back at a horrific history, one might wonder why. Why would Native Americans serve an institution that did everything they could to exterminate them? It is because this sacred land was ours, all of ours. It's our responsibility to protect this land where our ancestors walked and preserve it for all future generations. It's because we are resilient and proud of who we are. Women in general have faced the challenges of not being welcome in a distinctly all-male military force. Don't get me wrong, things are changing, but the progress has been extremely slow. Women are 3 times as likely to experience homelessness and poverty over non-veteran women. They suffer from higher rates of PTSD and depression over their male counterparts, and they die by suicide at 6 times the rate of non-veteran women. It can be inconvenient to be a woman veteran for the military and for herself. Women have had to prove their abilities over and over again while in the military and even when they transitioned back to civilian life. There are around 2 million women veterans in the United States. About 160,000 of them call California home. They're your daughters, mothers, sisters, granddaughters, grandmothers, and aunts. They operate outside of the traditional norms of women, and that can be a drawback for them to fit in certain settings, such as work, dating, the civilian female community, just basically society in general. In a study on how women veterans cope, one participant said, "When I first got out of the military, I had a tough time with civilian women. They didn't understand why I looked so militant. While on active duty, they are in male-dominated roles. They learned and expected behaviors of women in this environment place them at odds in the civilian community. The male behaviors they learned make them stand out, and that can make non-military people uncomfortable. The bottom line is that the woman veteran faces additional challenges when she returns home, and her service may not be recognized by the public. Despite the challenges, they excel in service to their country, in our civilian communities, and in government. I would like to take a minute to recognize women who are truly trailblazers. Dr. Mary Walker was 29 when she applied to be a surgeon with the Union Army, but was rejected. 2 years later, she received an appointment to serve as an assistant surgeon in the Army. In later years, Mary was captured by Confederate forces and was held in squalid conditions as a prisoner of war. She lobbied for women's causes and for her service during the war, and she was awarded the Medal of Honor in 1865. She is the only woman to have received the Medal of Honor in U.S. history, and her name is etched in stone on the Riverside National Cemetery Medal of Honor Memorial today. Colonel Mary Halloran served in the Women's Army Corps in 1942. She became the first commissioned officer in the regular Army, not in a medical role, in 1948. She was instrumental in advocating for women to become fully integrated as permanent regular members of the military just beyond wartime. Captain Linda Bray participated in Operation Just Cause in Panama in 1989. There she became the first woman to command American soldiers in battle. Her role forced the U.S. military to reevaluate their prohibition on women in combat, which culminated in an end to the ban in 2013. Finally, Captain Kristen Greist and First Lieutenant Shay Haber were the first women to attend and complete Army Ranger School, earning their Ranger tabs in 2015. Since they shattered this barrier, more female soldiers have earned Ranger tabs, including enlisted soldiers and National Guardsmen. We thank them all for blazing the way for other women. In closing, the more than 1.5 million members of the VFW and its auxiliary celebrate and honor the millions of American heroes who have selflessly answered the call to service. I hope today serves to motivate us all with a renewed sense of patriotism, purpose, and pride. America truly is the best country on earth as a direct result of those who serve it. Thank you to all my brothers and sisters in arms. Happy Veterans Day to each of you. Thank you.
And now an opportunity to honor Judge Laurel Brady, who is the presiding judge of the Contra Costa County Superior Court Veterans Treatment Court. She will give a brief overview of the history and the current status of this very important program. Judge Brady, on behalf of the Contra Costa County Board of Supervisors, I present this resolution to you, thanking you for your work in starting the Veterans Treatment Court. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm honored. It is an honor to be here today. A brief history about Veterans Treatment Court. Veterans Treatment Court is a concept that started in Buffalo, New York with Judge Robert Russell, who presided over their specialty and collaborative courts. Judge Russell had a particularly challenging case, a man who repeatedly appeared in his court and no program they tried was having any success. The judge finally asked one of his staff to talk to the man, knowing that both were veterans. This was the key. The man opened up about his military experience and his difficulties after discharge, including involvement in the criminal justice system. It was the first time he had ever talked about his service and the effect it had on him and his life. This was the start of the mentor program that would become an integral part of Veterans Treatment Court. Judge Russell started the first Veterans Treatment Court over 20 years ago. He recognized from the experience with that veteran that he needed to deal with cases involving military veterans differently. Most veterans treatment courts across the country are now modeled on his program, an integral part of which is a partnership with the VA, community services, criminal justice partners, and the veterans community. The mentor program, which is referred to as the secret sauce, consists of veterans who volunteer their time to be a mentor, one-on-one, for every participant in Veterans Treatment Court. Someone who understands their military experience. At least 31 counties in California have Veterans Treatment Courts. After much planning, Contra Costa County Veterans Treatment Court began in August 2017 with a 3-year grant from the Judicial Council. We have 2 programs, Veterans Treatment Court and Military Diversion. Military Diversion is for first-time low-level criminal offenses. Veterans Treatment Court is a collaborative or therapeutic court model which emphasizes treatment and resources as opposed to incarceration. As of June 2021, Veterans Treatment Court had admitted 41 veterans to the program, and Military Diversion had 85 veterans enrolled. We have added several to both programs since then. At least 16 veterans have successfully graduated from Veterans Treatment Court, and 60 have completed the Military Diversion program. Most of the others are working their way through the program. Upon successful completion of either program, charges are dismissed and all fines and fees are waived except for restitution. We are very proud of the hard work these veterans have put in to get through the program, and we thank them for their service. This is a group effort with all of our justice partners, the VA, the public defender, the district attorney, probation, Veterans Center, and our veteran mentors. I would like to specially thank all the veteran mentors, the Contra Costa County Veterans Services Office, and the veterans groups such as the Diablo Valley Veterans Foundation for their extraordinary support. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Brady. We appreciate the work you do for our veterans and the success you've had with the Contra Costa Veterans Treatment Court and the Military Diversion Program. I want to thank you all for attending, and we close the ceremony today with our veteran poet, Bill Nelson.
I want to thank Nathan for inviting me here again this year. I had a poem written, but I would like to do this one in tribute to the 13 that died and those that were wounded on the withdrawal from Afghanistan. The name of the poem is The Flag in the Drawer. The flag in the drawer never felt the gentle breeze, never shimmered in the sun, never climbed the highest pole, a drape for a native son. The flag in the drawer. 3 corners to the fold, on caisson slowly pulled, from battlefield to grave, gently lifted, folded, put away, the flag in the drawer. The tears that fell upon this flag, the sacrifice lies deep inside, not only he who gave his life, but those he touched, left behind, the flag in the drawer. So many times to arms the call, so many times the coffin shawl, so many times this sacrifice. Is this the cost of freedom's light? The flag in the drawer. When we see it on the highest pole, when we see it shimmer in the sun, when we see it flutter with the breeze, Remember those who stood the test, the flag in the drawer.